later today after he allegedly tried to break into his in-laws' home, of all places. The cornerback is being held without bail in Seattle's King County Jail as part of a domestic violence investigation.
Hello everyone, welcome to this special edition of Viral. We talk about on Viral in this episode, we talk about football quarterback, free agent Richard Sherman. Many of you may know who Richard Sherman was. He played for the Seattle Seahawks with Russell Westbrook. Now Richard Sherman once was a Super Bowl champion, now faces trouble after leaked reports of him doing domestic violence against his wife. Well, we'll have the latest. But first things first, join in the conversation using the hashtag ViralHereOnConnect. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss the things. We talk about former NFL Seattle Seahawks quarterback running back Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman, now a free agent, now caught in the headlines now that his wife with the domestic violence. Wow, there's a lot going on. Let's get to how all this transpired with this.
This morning, Super Bowl champion Richard Sherman is behind bars after an allegedly violent confrontation with his family and police.
I need officers to my house now. My husband is drunk. Richard, please stop! Richard, please stop!
It all began 1:30 Wednesday morning. Washington State Police say they got a call about a possibly drunk driver entering an active construction zone, hitting a barrier and badly damaging a car, which they say Sherman then abandoned.
We're very fortunate that there were no injuries.
A short time later, police say Sherman's wife called 911 from her parents' home, where he was allegedly trying to force his way inside.
He's being aggressive. He's wrestling with my uncle. He's threatening to kill himself.
Police responding, they say they tried to arrest him.
Mr. Sherman physically resisted officers' efforts to take him into custody, and a Redmond police canine was deployed to assist in gaining control of Mr. Sherman. Mr. Sherman was eventually taken into custody.
Sherman and an officer at the scene suffered minor injuries. The NFL star now facing charges of burglary, domestic violence, resisting arrest, and malicious mischief. Police also recommending DUI and hit-and-run charges.
Richard Sherman is one of the more decorated players in the NFL. He's somebody that commands respect, has had respect, somebody who hasn't had any issues off the field that we know about, which is why it came as such a surprise, all that unfolded in the wee hours of Wednesday morning.
Sherman's wife, Ashley Moss, tells the Seattle Times, quote, "He didn't harm anybody," adding, "He's a good person and this is not his character."
Richard Sherman posted bail, but his wife saying that it was just a mistake. You know, it didn't mean to get that way. She made that 911 phone call. But, you know, things happen in marriages that we don't know and we can't understand. This between that man and that woman. We just don't know, and all we can do is pray about it. Sometimes in marriages, if it don't work, you know what I'm saying, it just don't work. Pray about it, and you just have to find out what's next. Well, Richard Sherman got himself on a whole lengthy of headlines. Let's hear what you people had to say about Richard Sherman in domestic violence situation with his wife and trying to plead for forgiveness. That's his wife trying to plead that let this go bypass. Let's take a look with this.
What I have found my beautiful wife who loves me unconditionally. And she'll tell you I get on her nerves, but she loves me unconditionally. What I have that wonderful, beautiful son that y'all see come on the show from time to time. I wouldn't have had those moments. You taking your own life would be one of the most selfish displays ever. Because you're robbing the people that love you with precious moments. The final thing I would have to say about Richard Sherman, guy's a great player, great football player. Before this, I was one of those people that was lobbying, and I was hoping, and I was very optimistic that the New Orleans Saints pick him up. I was very optimistic about that. But as of right now, as of today, at this moment, I do not want to see Richard Sherman on the New Orleans Saints. I want to see Richard Sherman, whatever he's going through, deal with those situations. Not only do I not want to see Richard Sherman on the Saints, I don't want to see Richard Sherman on any NFL team until he gets himself together. The Saints will be all right. Saints, they have some young cornerbacks. They got some cornerbacks out there that the Saints can sign. We're going to have training camp in a couple weeks. A lot of these competitions are going to be intense. They're going to find the right fit, whether it's on the team or not here yet, but they're going to find it. But I hope Richard Sherman finds himself.
Well, Sage, Richard Sherman was arrested early this morning in Redmond, Washington. That is the police department that essentially arrested him and booked him. Bail was denied. Now, police in Redmond would not confirm the name of the person, but it matches up to where at 2 a.m. Pacific time, police received a 911 call from a residence. The person calling said that an adult male family member who did not live there was attempting to force his way into the home. Police arrived. Suspect was located outside the home, fought with police, but was eventually apprehended, was taken to a hospital to be checked, but was cleared, and then booked into the King County Correctional Facility where he is right now. It's called burglary, DVNINV, which is basically burglary, domestic violence investigation. But in Washington, burglary is defined as entering a premise with intent to commit a crime. Does not mean a suspect is trying to steal anything. The INV means the case is still being investigated, and my understanding is he has to remain in jail until he appears before a judge, and we'll wait to see when that happens. But obviously a negative headline for Richard Sherman, who remains a free agent right now, and you wonder how this will affect and impact his NFL future going forward. Obviously, teams that would have been interested in him will want all the details they can get about this particular incident, about what did unfold before anybody would even consider signing Richard Sherman. But something like this has to jeopardize his future and NFL career.
Absolutely. Richard Sherman, a 3-time first-team All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowl cornerback, and this happened outside of Seattle, where he spent the first 7 years of his illustrious career before going to San Francisco for the last 3. But again, Adam, since he is a free agent cornerback, what does the NFL do in this case? Just wait and see if he gets signed? What happens?
Yeah, well, listen, I think that's exactly. When I spoke to teams this morning, I spoke to the 49ers early this morning when I first heard about it. They were taken aback, surprised that somebody that they knew, as well as Richard Sherman, who had impressed them as much as he had, could be involved in an incident like this where he is arrested on a domestic violence charge in Seattle and denied bail. Now, again, I think probably with camps coming up here in the next couple of weeks, teams are probably looking at reinforcements, and my sense would be that nobody would sign him right now until they get more information from police on what this situation is, means, and how it will impact him going forward.
And one thing about Richard Sherman, all of us who followed the NFL, I mean, he has been known for his work in the community, regarded in so many ways, nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award back in 2015. Again, right now, we don't have many more details except for the fact that he has been arrested and denied bail. Again, all of this according to our Adam Schefter with the very latest.
God, I don't know what's going on in his life. But Lord, I'm praying for the family of Richard Sherman and for Richard Sherman himself. It sounds like when people, Lord, are reaching out for help, when they're reaching out and thinking about doing harm to themselves and doing harm to people that they love, Lord, that there's help that's needed in that family. I pray for his wife and for his children, for his 2 kids, that your blessings be upon them. I pray that peace, because I know that they'll understand, especially the children, what's going on. I pray that favor and faith will grant them, my Lord, and grace will be with them, that you will guide them through this time. I pray for protection for the whole family, for them. I pray that he, that Richard Sherman, will not hurt himself, that your blessings will be upon him, that you will find a way to break through his mind and his heart and bring peace and love to that family. I pray for his in-laws and his family and the people who are part of the situation. I pray your blessings upon Lord. I pray especially for the children, Lord, who may not understand. I pray blessings in their heart and peace for the entire family, and that your divine will be done. In your name we pray. Amen.
Start things off, Tashani. Less than 2 weeks before all NFL teams report for training camp, there's disturbing news involving one of the league's best players from the last decade. Shortly after 6 a.m. Pacific, police in Seattle booked five-time Pro Bowler Richard Sherman on a charge of burglary, domestic violence. The three-time All-Pro was denied bail, and though a police spokesman said no one was injured, authorities are investigating the case as a felony. Sherman is a free agent who spent the last 3 years in San Francisco after starting his career with the Seattle Seahawks. Named as part of the 2010s All-Decade team, Sherman is a former Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year nominee for his community service. The Players Association says it has activated its domestic violence crisis protocol, quote, for the protection and support of everyone involved. The 91st Major League Baseball All-Star Game was the first since the death of 25-time All-Star Hank Aaron in January, and a touching tribute prior to
later today after he allegedly tried to break into his in-laws' home, of all places. The cornerback is being held without bail in Seattle's King County Jail as part of a domestic violence investigation.
The domestic violence component is as a result of the relationship between the occupants and Mr. Sherman, not because he physically assaulted anyone during any family member or significant other during this event.
Was there any
Authorities also accuse Sherman of resisting arrest, DUI, and hit-and-run charges. Police say his SUV crashed shortly before he got to the home of his wife's parents. Sherman is a free agent right now, and the NFL says it investigates incidents involving law enforcement. And if there is a violation of the personal conduct policy, the player would face discipline. We've reached out to Sherman for comment. We have yet to hear back.
Richard Sherman has his series of issues, but many people in America have those. So we hope Richard Sherman can learn from this. Him and his wife, they look like they're a pretty couple, a cute couple together, and they can learn from their past mistakes and move forward with life, because no one doesn't need this. And Richard Sherman trying to get his foot back into the NFL. He's now a free agent. You heard one of the people on what the people said, that he New Orleans was looking at him. The 49ers was looking at him. I mean, Richard Sherman still in his prime, still is active or activist speaking. So, Richard Sherman, this shall pass. Let's hope he learns from his mistakes and him and his wife get back to happy medium. I've been your host, Kendrick Dix. We talked about Richard Sherman dealing with domestic violence, abuse, and trying to right the rights and right the wrongs. Been Kendrick Dix for Viral. See you later.